Welcome to Previously on X-Men, the podcast that looks at X-Men comics, movies, shows, characters, and more. I'm Hilary.
And I'm Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hi. I've been away at the Savage Land as the thing, but good news, we're going there anyway, so I don't even have to get out my bedroom. I can just yell from the window.
You could be like an on-site reporter. You could be like, as you can see behind me.
Garrock is looming high above the Savage Land. Brock, I don't know what we can expect from this. I'm going to ask Zaladane. Nope, she's not taking any questions right now. Back to you, Brock.
That was brilliant.
Thank you.
I felt like I was there.
Thanks. We're talking today about Savage Land, Savage Heart, part 1 and part 2. An episode that needed to be 2 parts. We'll let you decide.
I'm so glad that you brought that up. That was the very first thing that I thought of when I finished these episodes.
Yep. This felt like one very long episode.
Very long. It was like they were trying to do another Phoenix thing, but with Storm.
Yeah.
But then they didn't actually really do anything. Anyway, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Savage Land, Savage Heart, sometimes called Savage Land Strange Heart for some reason.
Yeah, in the book they have it as Strange Heart. Oh, you know what? IMDb has Strange Heart. Maybe I'm just changing. Maybe in my head I'm just calling it Savage Land's Savage Heart.
No, it is. It is called that because that's what it was called on the
title card?
Disney Plus when I watched it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't super vibe with either title. Like I don't really get what that means, but oh well.
All right. I mean, I'd call it. Yeah, I would just do the Savage Land, Savage Heart. It's both.
Yeah, right? I mean, they might have been trying to do like a parallel structure situation with savage. Like the heart is strange.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone with the alliteration if that was what they were doing.
Right. Sure.
Gotta like balance
Call
that
it
out a little bit.
Stormfront, Savage Storm.
No. That's extra alliteration. That's more
sorry.
S's.
You want to get away. Okay, so Aurora's Wacky Savage Land Adventure.
Yes, that's the one. I'm nailing that in. That's good. Right. I love it. Okay, so this is 2 parts. They aired on September 10 and 17 in 1994, directed by Larry Houston, written by Robert N. Skier and Marty Eisenberg.
Yeah, both parts. Usually we have part 1 written by somebody else and then part 2 written by another person, but I guess they turned in a hell of a good script.
This was their opus, and they were going to ride it to the end.
Yep, Eric Lewald was like, you two have written your manifesto in Savage Land, Strange Heart.
In this one, I feel like Wolverine really like hammered in his role as like the crotchety joke maker guy.
Hockey dad that you...
Yes. Yeah. That was probably one of the things that stood out the very most to me in these episodes, because there's a lot of just sort of like whatever happening, but like everything he said was just so, I don't know, like just like joking and like kind of having fun.
Yeah. I'm hoping that I'll turn a corner. I'm hoping there's like a circular thing with this. Like as I get older, I like that less, but I'm hoping as I get even older, I'll come back to liking it because I'm like, well, that's just nice.
It'll come back around.
Yeah. Well, now I think it's nice that he jokes. He's not so tough.
I'm currently reading, I can't remember what it's called, but it's one of those Infinity comics on the app.
Yeah.
And it's an X-Men one. And Wolverine in that is more of the like tired, like I'm just doing what I'm doing, I gotta handle this situation type. And it's kind of contrasting with like the fun-loving version that happens in the animated series.
Yeah.
Kind of like up for anything. It's very weird.
So Hilary, let me catch you up. Longshot came to the X-Men for help against Mojo.
Oh, did that happen already?
And Iceman showed up, and the X-Men battled X-Factor.
Listen, I was gonna be here for that. I was ready.
I believe you.
I must have missed a call.
Sorry. I sent my people to talk to your people, and I guess there was just some
That's a big mix-up. Yeah, couldn't get. I'm disappointed, honestly, because I was really looking forward to those episodes.
So those are what happened. So there's nothing here, though. There's a line later on that I'll call out for some continuity thing. But
Hey,
there's
you
no
know
what?
Maybe it's what you're thinking about. I forgot that I skipped 2 episodes, which was an accident, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And during the first of these episodes, they say something about Jean being on Muir Island, and I was
Well,
like,
that's
"Wait,
what I was gonna
what?
say. Yeah.
What?"
There's
that makes more sense.
There's no previously here.
Yeah, that's
Did
true.
you
They
have?
dove right in.
Yeah. There's no like you think they would need a previously because all the Savage Land stuff previously was in those little like snippets we got at either the beginning or the end of
Yeah.
season 2 episodes. So, there's a good chance you have no idea who Sauron is or
Yeah, he just like
Aragorn.
soars into the
Yeah.
frame, and like unless you remember from before. And yeah, you're right, because it is very aggressively tied
Yeah.
to the previous Savage Land
To those
episodes.
very specific episodes.
Yeah.
But I mean, we just cut right into like Savage Land. So I mean, there was the big 2-part first season too, but still, this seems ripe for a previously.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, you might, when you turned on the TV, you might think you're in like a Conan the Barbarian episode, because the very first thing you see is like a bunch of people in fur clothes or whatever, and like launching fireballs.
Yep.
At Sauron.
Yep, Sauron and his army, I guess, and also the Sinister Citadel, which Magneto had built. There's a lot of history there in that citadel.
There is.
But yeah, we see Khazar. He's there. He's leading the charge against Sauron, and Sauron's like, "Oh no, I'm changing."
Wow. Is this the first time we've seen that be a thing, that he changes?
I don't remember him changing in the original ones. Yeah, Sauron is voiced by Robert Boxsteel, who also voices Khazar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't notice that. That's funny.
Yeah, he turns into Carl Lycos. Boy, Sauron has like a... It's interesting because this is doing that thing again where it's pulling from the 60s, it's pulling from Claremont's 70s run, and we're in the 90s with those characters. So you got Sauron, who's very much, the 60s, and then you have Garrock, which even Claremont was like, all right, let's get past this now.
Yeah, I could see that.
But Carl Lycos, I mean, he got bit by a pterodactyl, and that turned
what
him
this
into
story
Sauron.
is?
Pretty much.
Oh my word! Because in the episode, it says that he was experimented on by what's his face?
Sinister. Yeah.
I love that his name is Carl. I don't know if there's anything better than Sauron.
No, I'm Sauron
transitioning
now.
into a dude named Carl.
Sauron turns into a person, into Carl Lycos, and then Zaladane shows up. Zaladane!
She was very familiar. Why is she so familiar to me? Do you know?
Zaladane? I mean, she was around a lot in Claremont stuff. She had a very hot minute where she was one of their primo villains, kind of near the end of his run. It was kind of hinted for a bit before Claremont left that Zaladane and Polaris were sisters.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it never happened. And Zaladane died during Chris Claremont and Jim Lee's run, and I don't think she's ever come back.
Huh.
So that's 91 or something, 1990. Yeah, there was a minute.
Strange.
She used to always look like she does in this cartoon, where that big poofy hair and the crazy makeup, and then Jim Lee came along.
Bird vibe.
Yeah, but then Jim Lee came along and was like, no, I think she's actually a sex pot. And then Chris Claremont's like, she's dead. She's dead. The first time I read that Jim Lee issue where Zaladane shows up, I'm like, who's this? She's like, I'm Zaladane. I'm like, no, you're not.
We know what Zaladane looks like.
No, I've really been working on things. I've been running every day. I got an elliptical.
I
grew my hair out.
Really good self-esteem now, so I just want to show it all off.
Yep. But Zaladane is voiced by Lisa Dalbello, who has not done much. Oh, she did 20 episodes of Sailor Moon as Queen Nihalinia.
Oh, weird.
Does that sound
Listen, I've seen, I think, all of Sailor Moon, and that does not sound
I could be saying the name wrong. I probably am. She's Queen.
I'm going to look it up.
Nihalinia. She also voiced someone called Avocado.
The heck? Oh, yes. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I recognize that character. Anyway. That's a random.
All right, well, she voiced her.
Okay, cool. I don't
Actually,
blame you for having trouble with that pronunciation.
she's also a composer.
Really?
Yep.
Well, that's interesting.
There you go.
Good for her.
All right, Zaladane is like, get out of here. They're gonna kill you if they find out you're Carl Lycos because you're Sauron. But he's like, but I can't absorb mutants' energy, and that's what turns me into Sauron. She's like, get out of here. He's like, you're right. She
sort of like hypnotizes him, doesn't she?
She puts a Garrock necklace on. Garrock, we come to learn, is a big stone person.
Stone person. I love when they finally, later we're going to get a flashback, and it makes no sense to me.
Yeah. So Carl Lycos is like, okay, he gets into one of the planes Magneto left there and flies off to New York, where there's a Comic-Con happening.
Did you see the like navigation computer? Mm-hmm. And it has like a whole list of places, and it didn't really say New York. This is the one where we'll go. But like Asteroid M was on there, and there were like all kinds of very random
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
For when Magneto wants to get some sun.
Anyway, he gets in the plane and off he goes.
Storm and Rogue are horseback riding in Central Park?
Yes. They're very specifically in New York City.
Yeah. Is that a thing you can do in Central Park? Just ride horses and keep them in a stable? I think you would
at least need a permit.
Yeah. At one point, Rogue is like, I'll take riding over flying every day. And I'm like, why?
No.
Why is that better?
A bad trade. That's not a good trade at all.
Cool. And then she's like, but sometimes a girl needs to let loose. I'm like, this is you letting loose?
She says yeehaw a couple times, and it's just the weirdest.
Oh,
she just sounds crazy. It really seems like Rogue, like the voice of Rogue, would be good at saying yeehaw, but it's like this very weird, like she like does this weird growl. It's very strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's her and Storm, and Storm. I like that Storm has like the little English writing.
Yeah, she's got the little tie. Well, she's probably wearing that because she needs to stay calm. Otherwise, she'll lose her control of her powers. So remember this. Storm needs to stay calm.
You have to be in control.
Let loose. She shouldn't let loose. She should stay calm.
Yes.
Carl Lycos is in a subway absorbing a guy's energy.
Some dude, yeah.
And then he's like, I'm just a vampire now. I'm like, aren't you always just a vampire?
So he needs to absorb energy from people.
To survive, he needs mutant energy to turn into Sauron.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are the rules of Sauron.
The rules of Sauron, because that's what he became when he was
Cut to Wolverine and Jubilee complaining about being in a museum with Beast, and even Jubilee's like, I don't like dinosaurs. So she makes fun of the dinosaur bones, and I realize I don't like Jubilee anymore.
Now you have a personal beef.
Now I have a grudge against Jubilee.
Listen, like I get the like teenager complaining about being in a museum, but it's not like, I don't know. I feel like out of all of the kinds of museums that you might take someone to, something with actual dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
Wouldn't kids be like, wow,
yeah,
a dinosaur, Well, like that seems pretty basic.
Yeah, I mean, Jube has fought Juggernaut, so maybe it's less impressive.
Less impressive. Point. Yeah, she's seen it all.
Wolverine gets nervous by skeletons. I'm kind of wondering how long they've been there and why they agreed to go. Because
they're friends, Eric. Yeah. They're supporting. And then when they finally leave, Beast wants to take them to another museum.
Yeah, he's pushing it,
Yeah, he has no sense of proportion.
Wolverine's more like, let's get a chili dog with the works.
Chili dog.
I'm the best at what I do, and what I do is eat chili dogs.
He's the best at eating chili dogs.
No. It's just cut to Wolverine just eating like chili dog after chili dog like he's Sonic the Hedgehog.
They just build a competition stage around him.
Yeah. We find out it's Weapon X programming that he's never triggered before, but now he can't stop.
Munch.
Who am I? Why can't I stop? Sir,
but while they're getting chili dogs, Carl wanders up.
Yeah, it's funny because he's like, please help me. Wolverine's like, sure, you look like you can use it. And then Wolverine learns the lesson of being nice to strangers, which is you don't do it.
Yeah, don't be generous or kind, because you're going to get the life sucked out of you.
Yesterday, Kendra and I were driving, and somebody was on the side of the road, and their like hood was up. And I was like, Normally, a nice person would stop and say, "Do you need help?" But I've watched too many Terminator films to know that if you stop on the side of the road, you are going to be killed by a Terminator.
Yeah, that was definitely a Terminator. That's a near
Yeah.
miss right there for you.
Hey, speaking of Sailor Moon, the transformation between
Yeah.
from Carl Lycos to Sauron after he absorbs Wolverine's energy is so anime.
Yeah. Well, it happened later too with Storm. Like you get
when she does
like a zoom in on her eye, and then it
her
like
costume change. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that background where all the lines are shooting up in the like just the solid pink background.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very much everybody who was watching anime in the late 80s was like, hey, let's do this in the X-Men.
Seems like he'd be a little more cautious because he clearly doesn't want to be Sauron at this point. He's like, I just want to be Carl, and if I have to absorb people, I will. But then he just like he touches Wolverine and he's like, oh no, crap, that was a mutant.
Yeah, addiction's hard.
Yes,
I think we could agree.
It is.
Okay, because Sauron's there and they're like, hey, stop riding horses. Look up. I mean, it's smoother than that. But
that was verbatim what happened.
Storm goes up to fight him, and then I guess Sauron was sent to get Storm because that's what he does.
Which we find that out later. Like we don't really know what the heck is happening.
Right.
But he does. He kidnaps Storm and takes her back to the Savage Land. And I don't think he knows why.
Yeah, he just does it. It's fun though. He calls her Wind Rider, which is a classic Storm term. I don't think has come up in the show. But yeah, they realize that she's being taken away to the Savage Land, and they get in the X-Jet, and they say, I can't get a hold of our ex-compatriots in Muir Island. And Wolverine says, studying Jeannie like a lab rat.
Do you want to catch me up on that? Like, where did Jean come back?
So at the end of that Cyclops episode, where he went to his old orphanage, they say, look, we found her. She's alive?
Oh, right, yeah.
So I guess that's it. That's the only thing it could be, because...
What? There's nothing in those 2 episodes?
No.
That I missed?
No.
Oh my gosh. I thought that there was some, like, after-credit scene or something that I had missed.
It's just Cyclops having seen her is like, I've missed you. And so, but, I mean, after these 2 episodes is the Dark Phoenix saga, so I guess that's just a little cut. So maybe it's not so much like, maybe it's not we missed something, but this episode is happening parallel.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. That's so strange. Okay, well.
I guess we can talk about at the very end of this episode if that was on purpose. Oh, they call her Weather Witch. Another fun Storm name.
Yep.
And then the whole idea is that she's there, and Sauron is like, unlimited energy because she controls the wind. Great.
Yeah, because like this is all some big plot because Garrock is getting the priestess to get
that priestess's
Sauron.
name is Zaladane. She was a villain in the Sega X-Men game. Okay. She was a big deal.
I will show her the appropriate respect.
As I don't know, Fabian Cortez and
there you go.
The Cave Strife. Her and Strife had a hot minute. The guy who came through the portal with Bishop.
Just the background guy?
No, the bad guy.
Oh yeah, I liked him.
Trevor Fitzroy.
Oh yes.
Or Trevor Fitzroy. She's like that.
She's right up there.
So she deserves her name spoken aloud because her and Trevor Fitzroy were big names for a minute.
Also, Zaladane is just a very fun name.
Spelt with a Z.
Zaladane.
Yeah. In the X-Men universe, I would have had it be an X.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Storm turns into a Super Saiyan because I guess that's what they want.
I said too.
Did you?
Yes.
Because her hair goes straight up.
Yep.
And there's so much
they release her inhibitions, I guess. Like, I guess this is where we're learning that she's been like controlling herself.
Please, but Storm, it's only 11. I'm inhibitions. Wine. Loosen my lips.
Loosen my oh my.
Well, maybe she's going dancing.
She's going dancing. She'd be a good dancer.
I have no inhibitions.
No inhibitions. So apparently, this whole time, unbeknownst to us, she's been holding a strict control over her emotions, and now they're
calm,
loose,
and now she's
and
not
she's
staying calm.
bananas.
It's confusing because Zaladane wants Storm to lose control of her powers to help Garrock, but Sauron just wants to absorb her energy so he can save Sauron. So why does Sauron need her to lose control of her powers?
Well, what Zaladane said to him, that like if he got her to lose control, then she would like access more power, and then like he could get that extra power. It was something like that. That's like this unlimited power, and he wouldn't need to.
Greedy.
Yeah.
You have heroin. Why do you need super heroin?
You need super heroin.
Yeah. You know what? Storm is a super
wouldn't
heroin.
you take super whatever?
It's
if
true.
you had a thing.
Yeah. If
you liked.
Yeah. If there was super mustard, I would definitely have it in my fridge.
Would you like mustard or super mustard?
Super mustard, please.
I'll take the super mustard.
Wow.
And if you controlled the elements, that would be a problem.
Hey, the X-Men get there, and Jubilee all of a sudden is like, are we really going to see dinosaurs? Nice try, Jubilee. You don't get to see any dinosaurs now.
You don't care about dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are boring.
Who says it? Is it Rogue that says eyes? No, Wolverine says, all right, people, eyes open, mind sharp.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah, I just thought
because he's a football coach from
I kept
90s
imagining
movie.
him here and say, you can't lose.
Yep.
Hey, what's that from? The open hearts, open mind, or
isn't
whatever.
that? Is it?
Is it Friday Night Lights? I've never seen Friday Night Lights.
No, what's that movie with
Remember the Titans?
Yeah, is it Remember the Titans?
I haven't seen Remember the Titans since like 2003.
Maybe it is Friday Night Lights. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think it's from Fright Night with Colin Farrell?
I think it's probably I think can't lose. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a line in here that I like because Rogue says that she's going to take a look-see, and she goes and flies. And Wolverine says, I'll take a smell-see.
A smell-see.
This is what I'm talking about, Eric.
Wolverine.
He's like amused by himself.
Yep. I'm going to take a smell-see. I'm the best at what I do, and what I do is take smell-sees.
And puns.
Earlier I had a chili dog with the works, and now I'm taking a smell-see.
He's just a more pleasant character in this.
He's just Weapon X hasn't bothered him for a while. Jean's not there to set his hair on end. He's just in a bit calmer state. Yeah,
he's settling in.
Yeah, next episode he'll be in full heat and he'll be very annoying.
So they're just looking around for Storm.
Dinosaur shows up. T-Rex, I guess.
Dinosaur, T-Rex adjacent, shows up.
Yeah, some kind of T-Rex-ish dinosaur.
Yep. And he's going to, take everybody down, but then Kazar...
Yeah, I feel like in a world where Rogue is right there, Kazar jumping on his back seems not as helpful.
Kazar knows how to handle...
And he just drops him in a hole. He says that will keep him for a while. But I'm like, something that big falling that far is probably dead now.
I know. I was like, but you see it. It's alive. And so I was like, so he just traps him in there to starve to death. Jubilee
got knocked into the mud. And she's like, are you forgetting something? And Rogue's like, yeah, the babysitter. She got Jubilee
so bad.
I love it.
They actually have a lot of big sister, little sister... vibing going on in this.
I like it because Rogue, Storm is very paternal to
maternal.
Sorry, I meant parental.
Parental, yes. There you go.
But you're right. She's very maternal to Jubilee, and Rogue always has kind of been like this kid, huh?
Yeah. It's nice to see the different kinds of relationships that you'd end up with living,
But lots of Jubilee these past episodes. You weren't here for the last 2 episodes because, again, I guess I got the wrong number when
just a real mix-up with that. Yeah.
But the Mojo episode was about Jubilee getting her first kiss from Longshot, but her also being like, everybody treats me like a baby. And the Iceman episode was her helping Iceman because she thought he was cute, and everybody treats her like a baby. So, again, we're back here to... I don't know. There's just a lot of Jubilee, and maybe other people's Jubilee mileage might vary, but it's been 4 episodes.
Well, she's the teen, the draw. Yeah. She's like, I'm you. If you were a mutant, you'd be like this.
Yeah. What happens? Storm doesn't show up. Sauron shows up. The pterodactyls show up. I
because
literally just watched
they go to Kazar's village.
Village, yeah, with 6 people that live there. It seems like it's just his family.
Yeah, it's just him and a couple bros.
Yep.
But they're by the fire or something, and yeah, then the pterodactyl people come.
So Beast does the fastball special because Colossus isn't here to do it, and that looks pretty cool. That's fun. Yeah. Throws Wolverine in the air.
I love how game for it he is, Wolverine. I feel like sometimes you have him sort of like, this is an indignity, but I must do it. Yeah. But this time, he's just like, all right, fastball special, let's do this.
I'm in it.
Then Rogue goes after Sauron.
Yep.
Again, because the first time she was hypnotized and almost killed everybody. Lots
of Rogue and Storm screaming these 2 episodes. So
that's the best part of any episode.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of Storm screaming because like Storm's like wind. That stuff gets annoying, but like Storm doesn't have like a very shrill, out of control scream like Rogue does.
Rogue's scream is real bad. It's
Rogue scream is
a lot.
And it's usually not warranted for that level of scream.
No, yeah, it's like 0 to scream.
Hey, bad news though. Storm shows up and she's crazy.
It's like they keep talking about it like it's just like, cutting loose, but she seems to be completely irrational.
Yeah, she's nuts here.
Which I guess is what the writers think that women who lose control are like.
Oh, no. Well, cut to a very early 90s CGI to be continued font flying at the screen.
It was so real.
It was like it was coming out of the television.
I ducked.
So I wrote a whole page of notes, like I just read, for this part 1, and I think I wrote like 5 lines for part 2.
Well, part 2, it's just sort of like, and then, they deal with it, I guess.
Yeah. So, okay. We just cut back to the action. Storm shows up and she's crazy.
So it's like this moment of, we came here to stop Sauron, but now we have to fight our own kind of situation.
Oh, I didn't say it in the last episode. Jubilee chased after Sauron and shot him down, and then he transformed into Karl Lykos.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, Karl Lykos, I know him to be a good man, yada, yada. And
he's like one of the people who lives in the Savage Land.
Yeah, he was.
He's just like a Savage Land dude who was kidnapped.
Oh,
because they did the whole slave thing. Like they enslaved all those people.
It's so weird because part 2 gets a previously.
Oh, yes, it does.
And not part 1. But anyway, so Jubilee had taken down Sauron and everything. So we cut to this. Storm's using her power. She's freezing everything. There's a lot of tornadoes and wind and stuff. And they're got to take Storm down. And Jubilee goes flying again after her in a pterodactyl. And she says, if I could take down Sauron, Storm should be a pinch. And I'm like...
Yeah, I know, right?
In what world is Sauron harder to take down than Storm? Mistress of the elements.
That's not cool.
And she gets taken out long before she even gets to Storm, thus showing Jubilee's an idiot.
She's dumb. Hubris.
So they're dealing with Storm, but also they're dealing with Sauron, because Sauron gets his powers back.
How does he get to be Sauron again?
So Rogue flies him up because they're gonna have Sauron take some of her powers.
I hated this because they go into a cave and they like talk about what their plan is going to be, and their plan is to make him Sauron again because like
it's funny because they're like, I'll just drain her powers so she loses some control, but I'm like, well, why doesn't Rogue just do that and then she doesn't turn into a Sauron?
Right, but there was like a thing because that's Rogue said, I'll go up and absorb her powers, and there's some reason.
Oh, right, because Wolverine says, and then you lose control of her powers from here to Bermuda or something. So I guess that's the thing. If Rogue absorbs her powers, she has her powers, but Sauron, they're like, all right, we'll just pull you away before you become Sauron. So they do that, but of course Sauron's like, no, just kidding, I'm Sauron again!
Yep.
Then Rogue tries to fight Sauron, and they both try to absorb each other's powers, and it doesn't work. And even Rogue is like, it was real weird.
Yeah.
And so Sauron flies away, and
I love at the end too of that because he flies away, and then like they're trying to figure out what to do, and Beast is like, so like, did you read his mind or something while you were.
Yeah, was that part of this?
No, okay, just.
What did she say? A word? Oh, Zaladane kept coming up, and he was like, "That Kazar's none too happy to hear that name, Zaladane."
Zaladane.
And not even drawn by Jim Lee.
Original Zaladane style.
Boy, I don't know what happens between that and the Garrock backstory, but I'm assuming some stuff happens.
They have Storm and they're like keeping her sedated.
Yeah,
and she keeps like
sedated.
getting away and then they sedate her again. It's a lot of filler.
Beast has his backpack that has a very complicated method of taking out a syringe.
Yeah, right?
So I want that action figure. But yeah, we get this whole backstory about Garrock talking to explaining who he was. He used to rule the Savage Land.
Yeah, and he was, I guess, probably like a mutant, right?
I don't know, but like his version of ruling the Savage Land is just shooting lasers at a bunch of dinosaurs who don't know what is happening.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, cool, dude. Congratulations.
Well, it's like thousands of years ago, right?
Yeah, but probably.
I mean, I think they say, don't they say? It's like,
I thought he said like long before people or something.
But it's him.
I kind of assume he's like goddish.
Yeah, and then like he's doing that, but then someone stops him.
That's the High Evolutionary.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I was
you
just
can tell
like,
because he looks kind of dumb. He doesn't look like somebody that would be a High Evolutionary, but there he is. I mean, maybe he does. He's very Jack Kirby inspired. But like every time I ever read something with High Evolutionary, I'm like, this is a silly design.
That was just that moment just made that whole thing feel so pointless to me because I was just like,
High Evolutionary showed up.
Rando was there, and then some other weird rando showed up and stopped him, and that's the story.
That's light. I mean, just randos meeting randos is how we got into 2020 too. That's how civilization happens, Hilary.
Randos meeting randos.
Met another rando is like, hey, let's build Rome. They're like, you rando SOB, let's do this.
Let's do this. So that's the story. Well, we get the idea that Garrock needs elements.
He was awoke because High Evolutionary turned him into a stone statue, into that like that Easter Island head. Yeah. And when the X-Men were there fighting Mr. Sinister, Storm's powers, her elemental powers hit him and awoke him. So now he's like, I need the elemental energy of Storm to come back to my full power, which works because Storm lets loose and he starts turning everything into stone, like that DuckTales episode where gold was covering the whole planet.
Yeah, the Midas situation.
Yeah, that was, listen, that episode really stuck with me because I've always thought like there was going to be something in life that would just cover everything like that.
Yeah, well, it's only a matter of time.
But anyway, yeah, it becomes like it becomes like that DuckTales episode where the whole Savage Land is turning to stone and it's getting cold.
And is it supposed to be like him spreading?
I guess, yeah.
Because I can't really figure out what he's achieving by doing that. But I guess if it's just like his, essence or whatever.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like when you play the Zerg in StarCraft. You need to lay down the Zerg goo so that you can even build anything.
Got it.
Because it only can build on the Zerg goo.
Interesting.
So
it's like that. It's like that.
Yeah, it's like StarCraft, everybody. It's like DuckTales and StarCraft this episode. And I'm not explaining it anymore.
And Sailor Moon.
And Sailor Moon. I have no notes until the very end of the episode, so there's just lots of fighting. Storm won't stop using her powers against him, even though the X-Men are like, stop, because she's
just energizing him.
She's less out of control, but she's still out of control, I guess.
Well, now it's sort of like she's out of control of her powers, but she also has this like feeling because Garrock is like corrupting the land, and she's got this kind of like Mother Earth vibe happening, and so she's like, we must stop the evil.
And Sauron is fighting them more, and Garrock becomes huge because he absorbs the energy of a volcano. And
this part is crazy.
He becomes a giant rock person just hovering over the Savage Land. And
he's like reaching his hands emerge out of like the ground.
Yep. And then they're like, what do we do? Even Storm can't stop him by trying to give him power all the time. And so Sauron is like, I rule the Savage Land and I alone. And so he absorbs his energy by touching the mountain.
No,
and
Megazords.
it absorbs too much, and he grows also as big as Garrock.
So he's like what's the it's not Godzilla. What's the guy that's like with the wings and stuff?
Rodan?
The giant monster.
Rodan.
Is it Rodan? Yeah, he's like Rodan.
Yeah. He's just a giant Rodan fighting a giant Garrock, and they do that pan graspy thing where they push against each other, but no one gains any ground, and then they explode.
They explode as a result of their force.
Yep. And then everything's okay. Cut to the statue head of Garrock being like, I was so close. And then disappear, like his eyes turn off. And then we cut to Karlikos, and Kazar's like, no more mutants will be here and you'll be safe. But, here we are.
That's the happy ending. And what happens with Storm? Is she like okay?
Well, they leave, and the X-Men leave, and Storm does this thing about how when she was losing control, she actually liked it. And
that's right, yeah.
Like, that's the thing. And is that supposed to be an allusion to the next episodes with the Dark Phoenix? Because that's the Dark Phoenix's problem. Like, she uses her powers dangerously, and she enjoys it. So...
yeah, maybe. I think that's probably...
I'm wondering if... I can't remember if, like, she says something. It's like, I, too, lost my powers, Jean, and I know what great joy it brings somebody. It's better than anything, but don't do it.
I guess I just feel like they're going to this well too often. Of, like, the out-of-control, super-powered woman who can't control herself or doesn't want to control herself. You know what I mean? Like, that just, as a plot... it's just like, okay, but we just did this with Phoenix. And then we did this with Storm in these 2 episodes that did not need to be 2 episodes. And then we're going straight into Dark Phoenix?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Well, estrogen. What are you going to do?
Estrogen.
you mix estrogen with the mutant genome. I guess it's just a lot to handle.
Oh, my word. Okay, so setting aside the inherent misogyny, I just think it's a bad... I don't... like,
it's a weird 2-parter to come before the next 4-parters.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I said this with the whole Mojo Iceman episodes because both of them involve Jubilee being like, I'm not a kid, and I also have, like, I'm pretty sure it says, like, who's the hunk, who's the babe in both episodes to both people. I'm like, what's... I don't know. It just seemed weird to have those back-to-back as well.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of the same story.
Maybe what we're seeing, Eric... is the thinking process of whoever higher-ups mixed these up. Maybe we're seeing that they're like, we can't have this and then this. Are you insane?
Yeah. You need somebody to do that. You need somebody to be like, let's spread these out. Let's
I'm getting a little more
fun
sympathy.
Filler episode. Yeah. Let's put a fun Gambit back in New Orleans, and he can't pay for his meal, so now he has to work in the kitchen. But also Toad works in the kitchen, and now Toad is causing problems, and so Gambit has to fight Toad. But it's a misunderstanding, and it ends with them both getting a meal on the house.
For example.
And you tell me, Hilary, you wouldn't love that episode.
Listen, I would adore that episode. That is my jam. Except for the Toad part. I don't love Toad.
Oh, all right. He hasn't been in this show yet. Oh, wait, has he?
Yeah, I think he was, but like... I think he was just sort of like an extra.
Yeah, the Geonosis stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway.
So how do you feel? Like, let's just like, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I don't know. Savage Land is so hit and miss with me sometimes. And Garrock stuff has never interested me at all.
Yeah.
Sauron is one of those characters that's so goofy, it's hard for me to... invest myself in a Sauron story, and like the Zaladane stuff, any like, hey, it's Zaladane comes from like the later years where Claremont was turning her into like one of their A-list villains when they were still in like Australia and stuff. So it's, I don't know, there's just a lot of elements in this episode that I don't care about.
Yeah.
And there's something about the animated series version of the Savage Land that also just seems kind of barren.
Barren in what way?
I don't know. Just like there's stuff going on, but in the comics, you can just have it look like, I don't know. it can look great. It can have a bunch of different dinosaurs and all this stuff, but with their budget and stuff, like you have to, I don't know. There's just something about it that never looks attractive.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same kind of green.
Yeah, just stupid mud hut, like those.
Yeah.
It's just the same mud huts. It's just the same tree. It's just the same river, and there's never enough like variation of why the Savage Land is cool.
That's true.
I don't know, and this doesn't need to be I don't know exactly how much you can trim to do what they're doing and show what they're showing. How you do turn it into 30 minutes, but maybe don't show. I guess you'd have to cut out the storm stuff and just make it. I don't know. You just have to have the X-Men show up because Kazar asked them for help.
Yeah.
I mean, that's easy. Kazar, Sauron, and Garrock are causing problems. Kazar goes to the Citadel, calls the X-Men. The X-Men show up and fight Sauron and Garrock. And 30 minutes. Yeah.
I think that it both could be just one part and has content for 2 parts.
Yeah.
And it's like they forefront all the stuff that it really should just be one episode. Like you just said, like they just go to the Savage Land, they fight some dinosaurs and bad guys, and then they're done. But then at the same time, they also have this complicated stuff with Garrock's background and tricking Sauron into getting Storm for different like there's a lot of actually complex interpersonal stuff, but the way that they do it makes it feel like all of that is pointless.
And the other thing is Garrock, Zaladane, and Sauron all have goofy extreme voices.
Yes.
So it's hard to like invest yourself in that as well when you have, what do you mean? I'll tell you. It's like these are all the goofiest people you could find having a goofy conversation.
Yeah.
It's
like all so heightened, you know, like they're all like they have the goofy voices and all of their motivations are so grand. And,
but you don't have any of the like the grandiose apocalypse-ness that like he can elevate that material. You don't have like Sinister with that like creepy grossness, and you don't have Magneto who feels like he stepped out of a Shakespeare play. So there is it's just this is what the X-Men could look like if it was a bad Saturday morning cartoon.
Here's what an example of that would be.
we got lucky. And the Storm stuff is not that interesting because she never has any moments of self-reflection while losing control. Like she just goes to I'm out of control to I need to stop Garrock while I'm also kind of out of control. But there's never any like, don't you understand? I'm always in control and I'm finally free. There's never She's never talking about it to us or to the X-Men or to herself. And so it's
there's
just
not really
yelling.
any excuse for that because you have 2 whole episodes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yes.
You're not like trying to cram
and instead we're really trying to get into the head of Sauron.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's like they're trying to do too much
with too little.
But I don't know, it's like they organized it wrong or something. Yeah. So like they end up doing nothing.
Yeah, nobody wants a cake that's all flour. You added too much of the wrong ingredient.
That's
I don't know. I just made a bundt cake.
Okay, so you got flour on the brain.
I've got flour on my brain.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so just, whatever.
Better yet, I just made a broccoli chicken rice casserole, and last time I had made it, I ended up putting too much rice in because rice expands, so it calls for 2 cups of rice. So I put 2 cups of rice into the water, and that technically makes like 6 cups of rice. So my last broccoli casserole had way too much rice. This time I did it right, and it was all evenly distributed. So I don't know, just put in like 1 cup of Storm with 2 cups water.
That's a good example, Eric. Good.
Thank you.
You nailed that. That's very excellent.
Excellent with an X.
With an X.
But yeah, I don't know. These episodes have never been like that exciting in or out of the right order. Yeah.
It's a shame because I really do feel like there's stuff there that's interesting if you did it right. But like it just.
But also, we spent a lot. I mean, we didn't because they were just snippets, but it feels like we spent a lot of time in the Savage Lands.
Yeah.
It already feels like we got a great tour of it. So I don't think we really come back to it again, so that's nice.
That is nice.
I don't think we need another one for a
We don't
long
need
time.
more. We don't need
Yeah.
more. Especially since we come back and it's just Kazar again.
Yeah, it's just, I mean,
it's not like some
Zaladin,
different part of
yeah,
the Savage Land, or I don't know. It just
and Shauna never gets any dialogue. I don't think she talked once in the last stuff.
No, I don't think so.
So yeah, there's just not too much to do there if you're not doing anything special. If you're just doing a straight Savage Land story, then this is where you stop, and luckily they did.
They did.
Yeah, that was Savage Land Strange Heart, or Savage Land Savage Heart, which I swear it is.
No, I'm telling you, it's both. Depending on like where you see it, it's both of those things.
Okay.
I don't know why.
All right.
I guess the Savage Heart is.
Oh yeah, the title. I'm looking at the title screen. It does say Savage Land Savage Heart. That is so frustrating. You know, after these 2 episodes, followed by the 2 episodes we just had, followed by that Cyclops episode, and what was right before? Because we did 2 of those. What was the one right before Orphans? Not Orphans, and whatever, the Phoenix Saga.
Yeah, there was
Obsession.
Something.
Obsession was also
with Angel.
Yeah, that was fine, but more for nostalgia's sake. So like, I'm excited we're getting to the Dark Phoenix episodes because I do need this episode to really like hit a home run here.
Yeah, let's hope.
It feels like it's been a bit of a dry spell. Though I will say the Savage Land of Savage Hearts episode have the 2 episodes prior, that Mojo one and the Iceman one, it was a different animation studio. And you could tell, and it felt very good to be back with the stronger animation style.
That's good. I wonder why it went back and forth like that.
Those 2 episodes had been delayed. Those were like...
Oh, that's right. So the art is from later.
Studio, yeah.
So it was written earlier and
but also the style of the 90s show, because it's like so detailed, it just makes it harder to animate.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to the 4-parter. So we got to cover 4 parts next time, Hilary.
Yeah, that'll be... How are we even going to do that?
I think we could do it. We'll do like a super... it'll be a like a Wonderful World of Disney original movie thing.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
That will be our...
That's what we'll aim for.
Yep.
Okay, well, I guess that wraps us up for this one.
Woo!
And we'll be back for the 4-part Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
That should be a different
With episode 1, Dazzled.
Dazzled. Is Dazzler in it?
She is.
Yay! Okay. Wrapping us up. Thank you to Prophetic Music for our theme song. Previously on X-Men is brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Other shows on the network include 90s Music Got Me Like, This Endorian Life, and 9021 Here We Go. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter at Previously on X. Please rate, subscribe, and share this show wherever you get your podcasts. Bye.
Bye.